Hey guys, it's me, Kendall Ray. Just kidding. It's Kelly. Was that stupid? I don't know. I'm dipping my toes into true crime today. I don't think this is gonna be like a thing on my channel, but I was really invested in the Hotel Cecil slash Elisa Lam case, and I was really excited that they made a docu-series or mini-series on Netflix about it, but I was disappointed when I watched it. So of course you guys are gonna get my review. I thought I was gonna film this like 2 weeks ago, but I ended up getting busy, had to film other videos first because they were priority. Um, and that's just how it goes. But I also wanted to really collect my thoughts about the whole thing first before I speak on this, just because it is really sensitive. Like, this is somebody's daughter, this is somebody's, sister, friend, like whatever. So I want to be as I don't know, I want to be as gentle as possible, as, I don't know, courteous, I don't know what the word would be, but I want to put it like really delicately when talking about Elisa, because I don't know her and the world doesn't know her, even if they want to think they do because of her blog post or whatever. But the truth is, we don't know her and she can't speak for herself. So, I mean, no disrespect to her, what happened to her, whether it was a suicide, an accident, a homicide, or whatever, is not her fault. And my heart really does go out to her family and her friends and everybody who mourns her. So I just wanted to say that before I get into this. I know this case has been sensationalized a lot, but I do think that people have just been curious, and it's a really weird case. There are a lot of strange details and also not enough information at the same time. So I understand what draws people to this case, and that's what drew me in too as well. So I think some people have taken it a little bit too far with the conspiracy theories and stuff, but I think for the most part, people are just wondering what the hell happened to her. What I don't like about this documentary, I guess I'm getting right into it, but I wrote it down. I wrote everything down because I have a lot of thoughts, you guys. I really don't like, though, is the internet losers angle that they decided to take with this documentary. Obviously I'm a little biased because I am somebody who is online, and even though I don't make like true crime videos or content, I do consume it. I do enjoy is a weird word because this is like people's lives, like I said, but I find it interesting. And not everybody on the internet who makes true crime content is doing it for clout or I don't even know, to get views off of somebody else's tragedy. That can be the case, but I think that a lot of people in the true crime community just want justice for these people and answers, and it has been really a good thing since the internet and since social media. Some of these old cases from a long time ago are finally getting conclusions, getting endings. People are being arrested who should have been arrested a long time ago. For instance, the Sarah Turney, well, it's her sister, but the Elisa Turney case, everybody knew her stepdad did it, but he never got arrested. And then in the most recent years, they've been applying a lot of pressure. There's been podcasts about this case and videos about this case and just a lot of awareness to this case. She started making TikToks about it, and finally they got justice. He finally got arrested. I think that without social media, that probably wouldn't have happened and the case would have still been cold. So social media does a lot of good things, and it's not just internet losers, as they like to say. So that's just what I wanted to say about that. And I think that the influencers or whatever who they did interview for this documentary there's a couple of them who seem like they're making videos about Elisa for the right reasons, like what the fuck happened. And then there are some that's like, I don't really know. But I think that the people who they interviewed were all people who are willing to say, oh, yep, it was an accident, I was wrong, whatever. And I think the reason for that and the casting for that was because that way it kind of proves their point that like people on the internet go overboard and like make mountains out of molehills, you know what I'm saying? I think if they would have talked to other people who have made videos about this, it could have been a totally different docuseries, you know? Because these people weren't putting pressure on the hotel staff or the police. Which brings me to my next point, is that this whole documentary just seems like it's damage control for the Hotel Cecil. It doesn't put it in a good light, so I don't think it's like really advertising it, like, come here, this is a good place. But at the same time, I think it will like draw in more business, more like curious people, like, ooh, what is this? Just like how people go on like vampire tours in New Orleans and go on like the Queen Mary haunted boat in California, I think. I think maybe they want to make it a tourist attraction. I feel like it kind of already is. But either way, money is money. So I think that was part of it. And then I think another part of it is that they really want to put an end to people speculating about this and just kind of close the case, even though it's already closed. And just, you know, we have nothing to do with it. Elisa was just crazy, you know, whatever. They were sued. Guys, I don't know the right terminology. I'm sorry. But Elisa's family did try to press charges against them for, I think, neglect or negligence or something, because she shouldn't have been able to get up on the roof and get hurt, which we'll get to. But they did lose that case. So I think this is just them saying, like, it's not our fault, you know, like that. They also make it clear that we cooperated with the police, and then they interview some of the police officers involved in the case. And I think this is a very pro-police, pro-Hotel Cecil, anti-poor people, anti-Skid Row, anti-mental health documentary. That's what I got from it. Maybe if you watched it, you saw it differently, but that's how I saw it. Another thing is that they want to make it really clear to us that Elisa was like misbehaving, really disruptive, behaving strangely, and that they had put her in a room with like other people, but they had to move her because she was like acting weird or whatever. But they never interviewed the people who were in the room, so how do we know that's true? They could have said this to like make her look worse than she was, or whatever, or this could have happened, like, we just don't know. But I want to take that with a grain of salt because there's no proof. And like, if I was in court, you know, I would, and on the jury, I'd be like, okay, but that's just what you said, like, where's the proof? There's no footage of that. There's also, really, they didn't release any footage except for the footage on the elevator, which again we'll get to. They didn't interview anybody who knew Elisa. They didn't interview a single person. I get that her family didn't want to be in it, but wouldn't like one friend or like an acquaintance or like a work friend, person, coworker, like boss, like anybody, professor, like classmate, like anybody who knew her, like, why aren't they in the documentary? It's just a little sketch. Unless they like know something that wouldn't put her in like a good light. But honestly, when people die, everybody wants to like talk about them like they're a superhero. So this will be a good chance for them to come on and clear the air. So I think that they probably just didn't even reach out to anybody which to me is lazy, because wouldn't you want to get like all sides of the story? Like, of course this is called the Hotel Cecil, the Vanishing at the Hotel Cecil. It's not called like the Vanishing of Elisa Lamb, but that's what it's about. So it's just, it's confusing. It really is. Another thing I really did not like is that they were blaming her bipolar disorder for her death. And while that might very well be the truth, probably is, I just think it adds to the stigma of mental illness. And I also have bipolar disorder. So again, we biased over here, but I also have it. I know how it can be really bad. I think they said she was bipolar 1. I'm bipolar 2. So it is a little different. And I've never experienced like psychosis, like seeing things. Like I've never experienced that. But it is common, I guess, for bipolar people to go off their medication. And that's kind of what they're insinuating. I will say I'm on one of the same medications that she's on. I'm actually on like 2 or 3 of the same one. Girl, we're just on all the drugs. But one of them though, Lamictal, if you go off of that, like literally even for like a freaking minute, at least for me, if I don't take it right on time, I am about to go on a Twitter rant, you guys. Like 10 p.m. every night, I gotta take that shit. Otherwise, we're about to start tweeting like Kanye. And then for me, I think I have like a milder, I hate to say that because everybody's struggle is like their struggle. Don't rank it. And everybody's like experience with like mental illness is like, that's how they experience it. But I guess the better way to put it would be like milder symptoms than hers. So me like missing a dose or taking it late is just me tweeting. But for her, it could be totally different, especially if she does experience psychosis. She could start seeing things that aren't real, kind of like what we've seen with the elevator. So yes, I mean, unfortunately, yeah, her bipolar disorder, like, this sucks to say, like, as someone who is bipolar, but 95% sure that's really what did contribute to her untimely death. But I really wish that this documentary went into more detail about what really caused that. I think they tried to, but it felt like they were just putting more blame on the disorder itself than, I don't know, than like what happened to her. If that makes sense. Like, I just feel like they were using the label bipolar as a scapegoat. Like, it's her, she's bipolar, that's why she died. They're using the fact that she's bipolar as just the explanation, like the total explanation. Like, that's why she died, is because she's bipolar, and not because like she crawled up on the roof, even though that shouldn't have happened and she shouldn't have been able to do that. Like, what the fuck? They just want to like just write her off, which I think really sucks. I think it sucks. It adds to the stigma, and it just sucks. And then on Reddit, I did see like the toxicology report, I guess. It listed all the meds that she had been prescribed and then what was found in her system. I'm not gonna list them all off because I didn't like write it down, I don't remember. But it did seem like she was on some of them, but not all of them. But I will say I do have a little bit of insight about that. Sometimes you prescribe things, but then your doctor tells you to stop, either because it's not working or because you're going to try something else. And her list was super long. So I think it makes sense that she wasn't taking every single one of those. And I just don't want people to just assume things about her, like, she was off her meds, that was her choice, like, whatever. When we just don't know. We don't know if she was told, oh, you can take less, because sometimes, like, I'll have, like, a side effect, and then I'll, like, tell my doctor, like, it's giving me hella side effects, and they're like, oh, take half then. So we don't know the exact situation. A lot of times what is listed on the bottle or the prescription, you're advised to take it differently, just because it's easier to, like, type, take 2 twice a day. But the doctor might tell you, take 1. If you feel like you are anxious, you can take another one, or something like that. I think the real reason they do that is so they can prescribe you like 60 pills just in case, but you might not go through them, you might not need them, like, whatever. At least that's just my insight. It's very likely though that she wasn't on it or taking it correctly, but she could have been doing exactly what she needed to be doing, you know what I'm saying? People can be manic just because of stress or other things going on in their lives. So, I mean, just don't assume and don't blame her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just really felt like they were blaming her in the documentary. And that's my main problem. And sorry I keep saying in the documentary, but I don't know what else to call it. The title is long as fuck. But that's what it felt like, and I really didn't like that. Moving on. So the only really footage that we have of her is her, like, in the elevator in that red sweater, and of course she's pressing all the buttons, she's like being kind of weird, and she's stepping out of it, she's like motioning at somebody. I have seen that it's possible that that is slowed down so that it makes her look weirder than she is, because, like, for instance, if I'm gonna stand here like, but I was just like gesturing like that, of course this is gonna be like less weird than, like, you know, it's like if you're recording your voice and then you click like slow-mo or like whatever on Snapchat, it's gonna be like you know, it's gonna be really weird than what actually is being said. So the footage, I 100% do think has been tampered with. And my theory, which I guess I'll just go out and say it, is that I think that somebody in the hotel or a couple people know what happened and might have even been present when it happened, might have even enabled what happened, and that's what they're trying to cover up. I don't think anybody hurt her. I don't think that anybody, like, directly hurt her or killed her or anything. I do think her death was most likely accidental. Doesn't seem like a suicide either to me, just because she was found with her hotel key. So why would you bring your key with you if you're, like, clocking out? Like, I don't really know. But from the footage, it does look like there's another person who she's motioning to. This show, because I'm not going to say documentary again, but this show, they really try and, like, make it seem like, oh, she's psychotic, she's, like, hallucinating, whatever, which, okay, maybe she was, but it's more likely that she's actually talking to somebody, or that there's somebody there, because I feel like they would just have more footage, or they would release more footage or something. Now we're gonna get to the roof. So what happened, if you're not familiar, was that she was found on the roof in a water tank. So they did a search of the hotel when she went missing, but for some reason they just decided, nah, we're not gonna look in the water tanks. They even had, like, a helicopter, like, go over and stuff like that, and the tank was open when they found her, allegedly. Like, I've heard both, that it was closed, that it was open, like, whatever, but when they found her, I guess it was open, I don't know. But they went through the roof, they had dogs up there, drones, like, everything, like, the whole 9 yards, and nobody found her that first time. They didn't even find her for 3 whole weeks later. So why not? Like, if they were looking so hard, why not? Like, I just feel like they didn't look as hard as they should have. Is this because she's not white? Is this because she is disabled, mentally ill? Like, is that why? I feel like it does play a part in it. I feel like if she was like a white girl, blonde hair, no history of mental illness, she probably would have been found in like a day or two. Who's to say? Because, you know, we can't, you know, like, compare situations, but I just don't think that they did their jobs that well. Like, it just really sucks. Like, the police fucking suck. Like, I'm gonna say it right here. I didn't think we were gonna go here, but they do. And there is bias. And so that just needs to be taken into consideration as well. Also, she wasn't American. She was Canadian. So she's a tourist. Like, is it more important? Like, you know, what's the deal? Are they gonna put other people and other issues, cases, like whatever, ahead of hers as like higher priority? Yeah, probably. That's probably what happened. Just saying. Because, like, why didn't they find her on the roof the first time? Who knows? I just don't know why the water tank, like, it's so random, and it's like, why was she even up there? How did she get up there? I guess they were saying that there's two ways that she could have gotten up there. The first way is with an employee with a key card, whatever, and then I guess an alarm sounds, but if it's an employee, they can turn it off or whatever. And then the second way is the fire escape, which is, they're saying that's what she did. And I don't doubt that, but also, wouldn't somebody have seen her? Wouldn't somebody have tried to stop her? And if she was really being as disruptive as they said she was, then why didn't they just kick her out at this point, you know? Like, it just really doesn't make sense. I guess what they were trying to get at in this, I don't know what else to call it, because I keep saying documentary, I called it show, in this video, is that it's Skid Row, it's so dangerous, there's all these like crazy people, you know? So her weird behavior was something they seen every day. But even if it was, like, check on the person, make sure they're okay, like, you know, don't let them like climb up on a roof. Like, somebody probably saw her go up there. That's what I'm saying. And I think they're trying to protect that person, because they're probably like a hotel employee, the manager herself, like somebody. And I think that people do know things about this case and it's not being disclosed. And I think that's what's so frustrating about it. And it's just really unfortunate, and she shouldn't have died. But anyways, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So I feel like they're protecting whoever saw her go up there or didn't stop her from going up there, because they could have been charged with like negligence or something like that. Of course accidents happen, they could have been let off, but I feel like they're just trying to protect that person. So I don't know, you guys. I don't know. In conclusion, I just wish we knew more about her besides her death. They tried to incorporate her blog posts, but everybody was sad blogging in 2013, 2012. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody, at least everybody on Tumblr. Like, Tumblr was a depressing website or social media site, blog host, whatever the fuck it is. Everyone was always posting like, another day. I wish I was dead. Like, everybody was posting that shit. It just, I feel like just reading the post by themselves, it just makes everything seem a lot worse than it really was. So I'm sure Elisa wasn't always depressed. Like, I'm sure she had like good things going in her life. It seemed like she did. But the fact that they just want to talk about her freaking depressing posts, I don't think gives her like the justice that she deserves. Like, they should have painted her in a better light. Like, she was like a real person, and I want to hear about her likes and dislikes and her personality and all that. I want to see who her friends were and like what they thought of her. But instead, we just get her like melodramatic blog post. I don't think that was okay. And I think that anybody who understood what Tumblr was like would have just said, no, these posts are irrelevant, because they are. Everybody was freaking depressed on there. Nothing new. It's just like, that's what Tumblr was. But anyways, those are my thoughts on this series. Honestly, yeah, it is a very mysterious death. I do think her mental illness played a part in it. I think somebody else is involved, but I don't think it's a homicide. I don't think it's a suicide. I think it was just an accident, but somebody knows something. I think the series was badly done. I think that manager is creepy. And I hope they don't do another one on a different case, because this was not good. I wish Elisa Lam's family peace and healing. And that's it for this video, you guys. I know it's all over the place. This is why I don't do these types of videos, but I just felt like I needed to talk about it for some reason. So anyways, this is it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye. See you on Tuesday.